Hi, welcome to another program. Most of the people are asking in lack of US military equipment in case US and Turkey is going to abandon the relations and or US might put sanctions against Turkey, especially with the procurement of military equipment. Is Russian industry, defense industry, is an option, is a feasible option for Turkey or not? Not in the short term, like today or tomorrow, but in the longer term, like next decades. And in this program, we decide to analyze this. Let's start. Now, as you know, Turkey and the United States of America, the relations between those two states have been deteriorating since 2000, I will say, 16, when the July 2016 coup happened. Now the leader of the coup is now in United States. Turkey wants him to be delivered back to Turkey. However, US declines this request, and since then the relations have been deteriorating, especially between President Erdogan and President Trump. Despite the fact that there are a lot of good things it should happen in future. But now most of our audiences or people ask me the question, Ibrahim, in case Turkey or the United States puts a military sanction against Turkey, is a Russian industry is a feasible option for Turkey or not? Not in only short term, but also in the longer term, like the decades I'm talking about. Now, we don't want to go with the analysis of the military equipments, if it's this or that or so on and so forth. But as you know, Turkey now decided already to buy or procure, let's say, S-400, the missile defense systems from Russia. Now this is like a box, and I have to say, so it doesn't need to be really aligned with the NATO systems. It can be set up individually somewhere in Turkey, in the east side, north or south part of Turkey, and these systems can operate individually. But such as planes or smart bombs or navy engines or equipments for navy or for land army, I will say, all these equipments should and must be aligned with NATO systems. Now, you know that the Russians, the systems are not aligned with the NATO systems. They are pretty much different. That's why it is not for Turkey's, I will say, advantage or benefit if it is going to be procured from Russia. These kind of the equipments will enable a tactical or advantage to Turkey, because it will create definitely more and more problems with the NATO members. But other than this, we are looking also at the economy of Russian military and defense industry. Now, compared between 2014 and 18, the military defense budget has, or the military procurement has declined by 17%. As of 2019, the first 2 months, the aerospace and the airjets sales have declined by 44%. These are huge numbers considering for Russia, especially when we see that there is an ongoing sanction from United States of America and European Union against Russia. The economy is declining. Therefore, the military budget and the investment that Russia might enable or spare for its industry is also declining. That's why the equipments and the technology are not modern as it should be. That's why the sales are declining. Within the domestic, let's say, suppliers, in 2014, only 6% were procuring the foreign assets or equipments other than Russia. Now today it is 30%, even 33%, which means that even if Russia wants to use the tactics like Boeing and others, which will enable them to sell some non-military equipments to their domestic markets in order to survive, it may not work for Russia because of the requirements of the suppliers. which indicates that the technology that the Russian defense industry is lacking at the moment. And since it is the case, now thinking for Turkey, in case Turkey is going to cut the ties with the United States, or United States is going to start sanctions against Turkey in terms of military equipments, which is likely, it might happen if the two states will not resolve their differences. In my opinion, the technology that the Russian military industry has is not going to answer all the requirements or meet with the needs of Turkey's. We want the systems that should be easily integrated in NATO, and in case Turkey choose not to, then it's another cost for Turkey. That's why we are still thinking that it should be there. Therefore, considering the budget and the industry, and also the limitations Russia in, such as that some of them, I would say, regional countries, especially within Eurasia and also Middle East, like Turkey, India, China, Pakistan, and some others started to increase their investment in their own military manufacturing sectors. Now, you may be heard of, but Turkey is now doing its own ships, even with landing dock platforms. It means aircraft in future. Turkey plans already 3. One is ongoing at this moment, the production. Turkey wants to now, let's say, do or manufacture its own air jets, fighters. Already India is also on the way. South Korea is on the way. It's already ongoing. China has already done everything else. That's now beyond our imaginations. So these kind of things where Russia once used to sell their, I will say, or export arms deals now is now cut. That's why these kind of resources which Russia is lacking. Also the resources that they cannot put the investment in order to increase the capability of their technology is decreasing. Once it is happening, for Turkey to align with Russia for future as an option against United States is not feasible. That's why we are projecting that in future and in coming decade we are going to see more in terms of numbers of military purchase from Russia, and also the US dollars in terms of volume. The export that Turkey is going to do from, I will say, Russia is going to decline, and it's going to be a probably decline, a fast decline in 2025 to 2030, even it will be minimized. And Turkey is going to put this money in order to, I will say, set up its own military industry and also improve the technology that Turkey wants to do, especially maritime, also I will say air forces and also land forces. That's the production. That's the projections. I'm sorry, and that's why we think that the Russian and Turkish relations will be at this moment like it is. Even though Turkey is going to buy S-400 from Russia, it doesn't necessarily mean that Turkey is going to buy the other equipments, such as Su-57 from Russia. Su-7 maybe you know, but there are either 4 or 6 air jets already being produced, but none the rest because of the cost. Like the TA-145, the armed the tanks. It's one of the best tanks as far as I read the specs, but when it comes to the production, the production is too high, too costly, and Russia doesn't only want to produce it to domestic markets, but they want to also produce for foreign markets like Turkey, India, and others. But none of them wants to buy. They want to now develop their own military, I would say, equipments. And that's why these kind of things is going to have a negative effect on Russian military capability or ability. Moreover, it's going to also have an enormous effect for future development of their technology. That's why our projections show that the Turkish procurement from Russian military industry is going to decline. It's going to happen, I will say, between 2020 to 2025. it will happen greatly. We will see this. Thank you for watching this video. If you like it, please press like. I will appreciate if you also get a member of our channel. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.